Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now what we're doing is we're just going to take a look at ADA, Cardano. We're going to see what's going on with the technical charts. No fundamentals here, just strictly dive right into the technicals. And what we do is we look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first to get a baseline of what's going on in the market so we know holistically what's going on. Okay? So that's the whole point and purpose here, is to teach you to trade for a lifetime instead of just for one day. All right? Furthermore, I am not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research. And if you're interested in joining my Patreon account, feel free to reference that down below. I have an awesome community of folks there. I'm also rolling out some signal groups here soon, and that will be an excellent opportunity for all of us to understand good entry points and sell signals. I'm going to send that out in the near future. So more to come on that, as well as live streams too here in the next couple weeks. I'm ironing out the kinks on that right now. Last but not least, I have $25 in Bitcoin from Voyager if you'd like to reference that, and let's just go ahead and check out the video. Let's get to it. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a closer look at ADA. Before we do, we're going to verify what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing right now first, just get a baseline on the market so we understand more specifically what's going on, if it's worthwhile investing in ADA right now. So, looking at Bitcoin first. This is, first of all, my Binance desktop application, in case you were wondering what I'm using here. And I'm just clicking, or I utilize TradingView. You can click on it in the top right hand corner here to essentially be able to see what I see. And then of course, furthermore, I have the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages. These are the simple moving averages enabled. And that's this purple line here for the 200. And the 50 is the yellow line here. And why that's helpful is because these are things that the industry leaders are using day in and day out, right? Even though all the internet computers that are buying and selling everything, all the bots, they're using these indicators as times to sell and times to buy, which is why you'll see the price jump really far above or below these lines when they're tested. In other words, you see here, it jumped up, jumped down. Essentially, there's reasons why there's a sharp increases and decreases in these movements, but neither here nor there. The 50-day moving average, what we're looking at here, basically tells us that it's working as a resistance level. So the price is below that, and it was previously above, so we lost support, now resistance. So the next major milestone for Bitcoin would be for the price to come above the 50-day moving average, which is about 37,000. And just note that 30,000 is the extreme low right now. That's the major support level. And we've also got a resistance at about 42,000. It's tested multiple times. So that's just something to be mindful of here with Bitcoin. Not much else to really note except for the fact that it's in just kind of, it had a head and shoulders pattern here recently. So you see the shoulder and the head and the shoulder there again, and the price coming down. So usually when you see a head and shoulders, the price will eventually come back up. Again, those are more traditional stock chart patterns, but Bitcoin is an anomaly all on its own, right? So never rely on specific patterns. They're just there to help us kind of understand what's generally working. Moving forward to Ethereum 4-hour chart as well. Just a note here, we have the 50-day moving average. That's a simple moving average, is also working as a resistance, previously a support level. So you can kind of tell that this is a very similar price action to Bitcoin. We almost have a head and shoulders pattern here where, and the reason why that's interesting to note is that Ethereum usually works contradictory to Bitcoin. In other words, it usually does very well and Bitcoin does poorly. Lately, it's been doing the exact same thing. And that basically just tells me that there's a lot of indecision in the market. A lot of the coins, the other altcoins are taking that market capitalization, where Ethereum, even though it's still very large, still very, very beneficial, it is not getting as much as it usually does right now. And the thing is just based on the overall sentiment right now, what's going on. So, coins like ADA, VET, Ethereum Classic, Matic, those are all getting some of the altcoins too right now because people are trying to buy the dip instead of buying Ethereum's dip. Okay. So the resistance level is about 2,900. Just be aware of that. That's the next major milestone if we can get the price above this 50-day moving average of approximately 2,500. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at ADA. Now ADA, we're going to look at the one-day chart first and work our way down. And just note, on the one-day chart, we have the pretty strong support level, sometimes resistance, but mostly support of the 50-day moving average. So you can see here, came below, closed above, came below, closed above. It did that majority of the time. In fact, today we're likely going to come above and stay above. So that tells me that 50-day moving average is more of a support than resistance, because even though we have a large variance, it does tend to recover quite quickly, usually within a day or less. Okay, that's a good sign. That tells us there's good fundamentals with ADA too. So I think that we're in good shape here, but the price is currently right around 160, and it's staying above this previous support level of 148. Okay. Furthermore, the 200-day moving average is a ways away. It's at 82 cents, slowly crawling up. We won't see that get tested for some time, but usually the 200-day moving average is a pretty strong support level. Not much else I'll note here. RSI is kind of fair to midland, same with the MACD. The moving average convergence divergence is really just telling us that it's kind of leveling itself out when those lines get closer and closer to each other. It's a state of consolidation. So even though this isn't a true consolidation pattern, it is consolidating effectively right now. It's working itself into a smaller channel. We can kind of see a little bit of a pennant pattern here that could likely break out in the near future. So looking at the 4-hour chart, let's go ahead and take a quick look here. So same scenario as well. If we look at the moving averages, so if we saw Ethereum and Bitcoin where we had that 2-day stage above the 50-day moving average, the price came below. But look at this, the price is above the 50-day moving average now for ADA, and that tells you how much more of an impact it's having versus these other two coins. Because normally Ethereum would be doing what ADA is doing right now. So I think that's a good sign. It really pretty much tells us that there's a lot of market capitalization in ADA, and that people are likely putting their money into ADA versus Ethereum because the price came up right past that 50-day moving average. Same thing as well here, we've got a support level still at 148, holding above that support. So all in all, I like the technicals here so far on the 4-hour chart for ADA. MACD also swung in an upward fashion. We're having a sell-off here as well, and this is a bearish engulfing pattern, so we could see a reversal, but we're just going to have to hope and see if the support of 148 holds, if it comes back down below. But great news is, I forgot to mention this, the 200-day moving average is tentatively working as a support level, so if we can get that to continue to hold, we'll probably be in pretty good shape. Okay. Alright, so that is the kind of what we're looking at there for the 4-hour. 15-minute, just to quickly note here, and I do like to just disable the moving averages because I always use the VWAP and EMA line. If you're new to the channel, I use the VWAP. It's most of the time on the 15-minute chart or less, right? So the VWAP is a really good signal for us to understand if it's considered bullish or bearish. In other words, the price is above, it's obviously bullish, right? That's kind of obvious. But furthermore, it works as a support level. So in most cases, this line will work as a support if the price is above or resistance if the price is below. So just be mindful of how the price is reacting to the VWAP line. If it's above, like say for example the price continues to come down, wait for it to test the VWAP line before taking entry to see how it's responding. If it tests, rejects, and holds above, then that's a pretty good consideration for either an entry point or just confirmation that you're looking for to understand more specifically what's going on. Okay. You also want to include the EMA 15. And the reason why is because it's more of a momentous indicator. It's similar to the MACD, only reflected on the actual price action. And what that means is it just basically tells us that the price, if it's trending above, it's more so bullish. If it's trending below, it's bearish. So you look back here, right? Price above EMA, good, bullish, and then it's shifted here, lost EMA and the VWAP line, and became bearish. See? It comes above, becomes bullish, comes above, and holds above. Look at that, bounces off VWAP and EMA and shoots right back up. So obviously, again, I know it's easier said than done, but a good entry point is to wait for the price to come above EMA and the VWAP line and to take entry somewhere in this range here, either here or here. Once you get that true confirmation the price is staying above the EMA line. Okay. As you can see, it just kind of went straight up, of course, because the price was way too low for too long. Because again, the average true range for ADA should be much higher than it's at right now. So just quickly look here at the 4-hour chart. The price went way up here, of course, to about 246 at its high, and only sold off because the China Elon candle's here. So what I'm getting at is the fact that, ADA, I believe the price action, we should expect to see this here in the next 2 weeks. If Bitcoin can just continue to consolidate between 35 and 42,000, then we're going to see a run from ADA, and that run will come somewhere in the range of anywhere between 148 Again, I don't think it'll go much lower than that because the moving averages are holding at the price level right now. But just say 148 upwards of about 220. So I'd be very surprised the price doesn't come into the range of just say 190 and 220 in the very near future. So I'd predict that in 2 weeks we're going to see that kind of price action. And I say 2 weeks because it could very well get up there right now, but we don't want it to, right? We want it to slowly increase and to just do a staircase pattern, right? Because any good bull run is going to be a bull run that starts by a short increase, consolidation, increase, consolidation. We want to see an up over pattern, because if we don't have that and it comes up way too quick, then we risk another retracement and coming back down again. Okay, I'd much rather it be a sleeper and just slowly work its way up instead of just blast off into the moon, right, as people would say, and then the price comes crashing back down and we lose all faith in it. That won't happen with Theta, but just saying generally that's what we don't want and what we do want. So back to the 15, let's see if we just take a look here now. RSI was over 70, as you can see right there. But here's something to note too. People don't understand this. It's kind of a trick, and you reference my RSI video that I have regarding this, because if you don't know how to use RSI effectively, you want to understand it. Because if we look here, right, because the common rule of thumb is to be like, okay, RSI is over 70, might be a good sell signal, right? And that's true. It does tell you it's overbought, right? So we just say we go up with this price, where as soon as it goes up over 70, that's maybe right in this range here, approximately. All right, so say you took entry back here, and you came up and you got your, what is it, you're right here. There you go, you got your 6%. It's not bad, it's not terrible, that's actually very good. I'm happy with that. But just say you got out prematurely at 6%, there's a lot more meat on the bone, right? So it just keeps on coming up, keeps on coming up. So what you do is you wait for the RSI to want to come back down past that 70 point. So what you do is you take entry correction, you actually exit your position right here, and that'd be roughly right here in this range. Okay. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a 6% increase or a 15% increase? It's almost 3 times the amount, because you are patient to let the RSI calm down and to start edging its way back down. Now again, it can retrace and come back down. Sometimes you might lose a little bit of profit, but it's still almost always more profitable to sell your position when the RSI comes back down under 70 versus when it immediately comes up over 70. Okay. Again, it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at the 1 minute chart, it might be a different story. I don't recommend using really the RSI much at all on the 1 minute chart. It's a very conditional, case by case, but on the 15, very effective, very good way to understand entry and exit points. So let's just go ahead and summarize here in the sense that I already kind of gave my predictions, but what I want to say is, looking at the price action right now, would you say that this is a good entry point? It's based on hearing what I've said so far. I hope your answer is no. And the reason why is because it's under the EMA line. Okay, you don't have true confirmation. Same thing goes here as well. Yes, it's overview app. That's fantastic. That's one positive indication. But if you're a good trader, you're going to use multiple indicators to make an informed decision. You never use just one. All right, so just RSI, no good. Just MACD, no good. Just VWAP is no good. But if you use a VWAP and the RSI in conjunction with the EMA line, you're going to be doing tremendously better. So those are the 3 things I always use every single trade, and it works phenomenally. But I always wait for confirmation. And when I say confirmation, like I said before, we're looking for at least 2 to 3 15-minute green bars closing above EMA in the VWAP line. If you don't have that, it's not worth taking entry. Again, I'm a conservative trader myself. I don't like to gamble with my money. I like to win, and I like to do very well every single day. I'll admit, I get stopped out. I lose sometimes, but it's small percentages, right? My risk tolerance is only 1%. I'm only willing to lose 1% of my total trade volume at that day per trade. In other words, I never risk more than 1% of my overall amount in a trade by 1%. So yes, I do get stopped out quite frequently. But that's the main reason why I wait for confirmation like this. Because if I wait for confirmation, and we saw this here, that was anywhere between a 6 to 15% gain. All it takes is being patient and waiting for the right indications. So anyways, I try to get, I try to drill that home, of course, because I've gambled with my money before in the past, and I guess it's exciting to an extent, but it sucks so hard when all of your gains go down the toilet, like we've been seeing recently with all the Bitcoin selling off, simply because you're hodling or you're too focused on the big picture. It's a lot of money to be made in these short-term time frames, and all you have to do is be patient. Again, there's nothing wrong with swing trading or hodling. It's perfectly fine. I do it as well on the side. I have smaller accounts for that. But if you want to make some real money, use these indicators, and just do a little bit every single day, if possible. Again, we don't always have that schedule, and we don't always have the time, but something to note. You can still be very successful with a short-term swing trade. Just make sure you set a stop limit and set a good risk tolerance, right? A good risk tolerance in crypto, I would say, is 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. In other words, you're willing to lose 1% of your trade at that time for a potential of a 3 to 4, 3 to 5% gain, right? In traditional stock market, you always want to shoot for a 2 to 1 ratio. I'm very successful in that rate. With crypto, there's a lot more volatility, so sometimes you have to kind of expand that a little bit more so you don't get stopped out as quickly. So sometimes it might be a 4%, 2%, where you're going to risk 4%, potentially lose 2%, but gain 4%. Again, 2 to 1 ratio or higher. I'll have future videos regarding this too, just so you understand kind of more so what that looks like, because risk tolerance and risk management is extremely undervalued, and people don't truly talk about it as much as they should in crypto, because it's all about 10x, 20x, and all this crazy, stupid bells, notifications, whistles, and stuff. I don't know. I probably sound like an idiot saying this, but there's too much hype in this industry, and I really think we need to calm down and be tactful, because there's tons of money, tons of things you can do with it if you're just careful and you're meticulous. Okay. Try to be more cautious, because treat this like a business. If you don't treat trading like a business, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're just kind of, again, gambling with your money. People love to gamble, and I'm not saying that's a terrible thing. Just be willing to lose all your money that you're gambling, right? That's gambling, is losing. Good trading is winning and being successful and growing your portfolio by only 1% per day. That's all you need. You can get where you need to go quick by doing that, if you're familiar with how that works. Either way, topic of conversation for another day. Apologize for the rant and rave. I hope you're having a good one. Thank you so much for joining me here. Also, join my Telegram community if you haven't already. Feel free to support me on Patreon. By the way, I actually have signal groups I'm going to roll out with next month, and that is going to be available in my Patreon account, which I'll be able to give you, good buy signals, good sell signals, and things that are just extremely relevant in the market. I'm working hard on that, so I promise we'll have that soon, as well as live streams in the next couple weeks. I did purchase a new microphone, so hopefully we'll be able to get some better quality, some good stuff moving forward to you, so we can stay consistent and relevant in this market, regardless if we go in a bearish market or if we consistently see another bull run. We'll see what happens. And with that, I take adieu. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon. See you next video. Thank you.